He's rolling that tape. I don't know. I can't see it.
I can't see it. There we go.
Counting down.
Here we go.
May stay in the basement. We're all in our basement.
But it's all girls.
Yes.
No gray hot tape.
We gotta get some help. Hello. Chris has taken the night off, and apparently we're having an all-ladies stream. So we got 6 folks here with us tonight, including myself, which sounds a bit redundant. So I guess we're doing a ladies' night, and there's going to be no old Gray's space set, even though Dana hasn't done that in a while because I didn't prep anything. So we got 6 folks here, as I said, and I'm just going to start off by going around the room. Jillian, you want to introduce yourself? I think you might have been once on already, but go ahead and take it off. And hopefully producer Chris, who's in the background, will do all the special buttons with the views. Maybe.
Hi, my name is Jillian, also known as Jillian versus Reality. And this is just another amazing time I get to spend on Old Gray Bricks with my girls. So I'm super excited about that. I hope everyone's excited for an awesome show tonight.
How are we going to
All
follow
right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
that? Was so good.
Aubrey, there's too many Aubreys. Let's go with Aubrey the Ob builder first.
So I am Aubrey number 2, light Aubrey. I don't know what we're going with. But yeah, also
I feel like the light versus dark sounds like evil twins or something. And neither of you are evil, so it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah, so I'm one of the Aubreys. So I'm excited to be here too. Always love to be a part of the show. So
cool. Well, we'll go to Jean next. Jean, if you want to introduce yourself. I think you're first time on the show or second.
Yes.
I can't.
First time. Wait, I should have practiced that line. Yes, it's my first time on here, but I've watched plenty of times. So thank you for having me on, Chris. Am I supposed to say something about myself? I don't know. I like Star Wars.
I mean, you just want to blow it. Yeah, I know you are like Rebel's number one fangirl. Chopper's number 1 fangirl.
Chopper's number 1 fangirl. Yeah, so I'm pretty new to the LEGO community, but the LEGO community, which involves all of these ladies, these lovely ladies here, and Chris as well, have all been very welcoming. So, you know, for somebody new, it definitely can be very scary to join a new community and, you know, not know if you were going to be okay with it. But I've met a lot of amazing people, and I'm happy to be here.
Cool. We're going to get into it because even though I think Bricksmith would classify me just out of my baby AFOL stage. If y'all know Bricksmith, Julian, the guy who was Woo, he had like a AFOL baby stage. Like when you got back from your dark age, I think it was like 2 to 3 years you were considered a baby AFOL. So wow. I'm only shortly out of my baby AFOL stage. So we'll go to Nicole, girl bricks a lot, who I like to watch on a couple of Brickheads. She kind of brings some levity because those guys go crazy.
They go crazy. The Girth Gang is girthy. Yeah, we'll be on at 11 p.m. tonight, nice and early. But hi, I'm Nicole. I enjoy long walks on the beach and Lego. And I think I would be classified in my baby stage. I just came back from I'm not going to say how long the hiatus was because that will age me, but I'm back. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, awesome. Good to be here. Great to be with you guys.
I think you're a first timer as well, so thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
usually it's me and a bunch of space guys. So
yeah,
great. I like space guys. And last but not least, the other Aubrey, Maktora, my gal from, she's too far away. I can't get my Belleville Aubrey down. So.
Oh yeah, I have mine if you want to show. I even have yours, Sig Fig, and Aubrey's, Light Aubrey. I'm the evil one.
I know, dark and light just sounds like evil twins.
Hey, I'm good with it though. I am totally down to be the evil twin. It works better for me than West Coast Aubrey because I'm from Utah, and when people are calling me West Coast, I'm like, but they're like, I'm on the western. I'm in Utah. There's like Nevada and California, which are massive states. I'm very far from the coast, so
I don't know if
way
I
more
tell you.
accurate.
I was gonna say my husband grew up in Utah, and yeah, you don't call it the West Coast. You call it Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, it's Utah.
Utah.
People working together. Sorry, that's hard. Anytime someone says Utah, I'm like, I have to sing that song. Yeah, I'm Aubrey, and I have been on the show. Oh man, okay, this is some lug drama. We can get into that later if you'd like. I can tell you. Mountain Aubrey also works. Nalena, I like that. Let's see. Yes, I'm Aubrey. I'm from Utah. I think I'm maybe out of my baby AFOL stage, essentially. What else? And,
I
I
wish
SpongeBob.
Julie was in the chat so we could ask him.
Hey, this is the one that's missing the hand. Okay, this is the Belleville doll we were talking about earlier. So, yes, this is my Sig Fig. I don't know where my
Natalie tried to steal. Natalie tried to steal the headband on yours, and I told her she couldn't. It's a complete set. It's valuable. It has to have the headband. She was trying to steal it.
The headband is technically not a part of my Sig Fig, but Natalie, I'll send you one if you want. I have a ton.
No, it completes like in the Big Lebowski. You know, like the rug brings the room together. The headband brings it together. So.
I think so too.
Well, I appreciate everyone's here. Kind of trying to get that female perspective, and it's kind of always awkward because it's just like that's just the perspective we have. Period. But there's a lot of guys in the space, but I figured we kind of start off with maybe talking about like how people got back into Lego. I mean, I'll just do it 30-second snippet. I mean, I pretty much got back into Lego because my child got to the age and was playing with it, and it was like rediscovering my childhood all over again, and then discovering all the craziness that is the AFOL world. But like, I think everyone kind of, especially because I know we have people here, Aubrey, Dark Aubrey, and Nicole, I think you have a daughter too?
Yes.
Yeah, so some of us have kids, some of us don't. So who wants to hit it up first? Like what brought you back? Or if you didn't have the Dark Age, like what kind of brought you into the AFOL scene?
I'll go first. So I got back from my Dark Ages because, well, I'll say this. I was buying sets here and there throughout my Dark Ages, but I would never have considered myself fully back in it because they were usually like the 3-in-1, you see them at Joann, and I'm like, that would be fun for a minute. But I really got back into it when during the pandemic, I was pregnant and my husband and I wanted like a date night, and we each bought a set. My first one was actually Bruni because Lego was so absurdly expensive and I didn't want to spend more than $12, I think this was. And right after that was the May the 4th whole release drop thing, and then that just started it all. I remember coming back and taking a picture of our haul, and I'm like, this is going to be a regular thing, isn't it? So, but it's been nice. It's good for mental health. It's good if you're a parent to turn your brain off because you're constantly doing things and for other people. So it's a nice way to do something for yourself. And I've always been creative, and I just found that calmness and creativity in Lego, which was, really nice.
Some people, I do a lot more mocks lately than I do sets, but sometimes I need that creative but shut your brain off like zenness, and it's like a set brings that. And
absolutely,
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people read, but like, I don't know. it's been 20 years, even though it's been 20 years since college, but I read a lot at work too. And it's just like, I don't want to read. I want to do something like that. So very cool. And by a show of hands, and I think I'm going to hit everyone here. I think everyone here is a fangirl of Star Wars.
Yes. 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 Yeah. Yes.
Which is like totally awesome because growing up, I had out of my friends, especially in high school, even they thought that was weird. They thought it was really weird.
Yeah.
That a girl would like Star Wars.
Yeah, I used to run around college in my dorm with a Vader helmet, like one of the legit ones, and it freaked people out. Like it was like I remember it was not accepted. Now I think if I did that, I would have been a hero, but back then it was like this girl's weird, and we're gonna
this weirdo.
Yeah, we're like gonna keep her at an arm's length.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like in the Lego community, I do say that I'm a Star Wars fan, but like outside of the Lego community, I will say that I'm a casual fan because I'm like, I don't want to get into debates. We're not gonna fight about like who's better because it's like, as soon as you say like, oh, I'm a Star Wars fan, they're like, what's your favorite movie? Who's your favorite character? And all that stuff is fine, but then and you start bringing like female characters into it, and it's like the new ones, and the older Star Wars fans go like, oh, you're not a real Star Wars, so I'm just like, I'm a casual fan.
Yeah,
just so that we don't have to talk about it.
I mean, just like you can be an AFOL in different ways, you can be Star Wars fan in different ways. I think Aubrey, you have the EU books. I think you showed off your EU books back in a few posts like a couple months ago, and it's like I always be like, it's so funny, the Star Wars nerds, and I'm being tangential here. Like the Star Wars nerds are like, well, the whole Kylo versus Rey thing. And it's like they lifted that crap from the EU. So if you want to hate on something, hate on the EU. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hey, I know Jillian, I don't think I've ever heard your AFOL story. I know you're a big cosplayer and obviously you work at Atlanta Brick Co., but like, how did you get back out into the AFOL world?
So I would say I grew up playing with Lego, like from a very young age. And it was funny. I feel like while I had sets growing up, I was kind of mock building from a young age without knowing what mock building was. Around high school, I sort of started to get into like, I guess what was considered then the TFOL world. So teenage fans of Lego. But I didn't know about Peach Lug. I didn't really know about just the whole social media aspect of Lego because I was also a big, and still am, but a cosplayer at the time. So it kind of went all through college where I was continuing to build. And around my freshman year, I took a little trip to Newnan, Georgia, where I found Atlanta Brick Co. And turns out I had met Chris, one of the owners, in passing numerous times. So we eventually got to talking, and the next semester I started working there. This year will be around 4 years. And throughout that time there, I feel like if I was like about here on like the AFOL, TFOL scale, immediately working at Atlanta Brick Co. just shot it up like to the stars because you have just an amazing group of people there who are so encouraging about building. And it's just a whole Lego environment that I get to go work at every week. So really just, it's odd saying I started with mock building because I was very shy about it. And it wasn't until last year that Mark Erickson convinced me and was like, you need to display and you need to post your mocks. And I was like, I don't know. This is coming from you, a Lego master, to me. And he's like, exactly. Post your mocks, display. So I'd been going to Brick Fair, Alabama numerous years, but never displaying. And it took me going to Brick Fair, Virginia. I brought a mock with me. I flew with a mock. I displayed there for the first time. And it's just been the most amazing ride, meeting amazing friends, going to amazing conventions. But it was really just a big confidence booster, just officially kind of shoving myself out there, being like, you'll swim. You'll swim eventually.
So I first displayed at Brick Fair, Alabama. It was my first time ever. And I was sitting next to Mark and Steven, who already brought this crazy, incredible builds. And the theme leader was Martin. And it's just like, they were the awesomest, most supportive people ever. And I emailed Todd, the owner of Brick Fair, like 20,000 questions. And he was super like, answering them. I was probably annoying, and like I have to say, like the Ericksons, especially Ericksons and Mark, they're great people, and they just want to see awesome builds no matter where they come from. So they're awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Like I remember I thought it was annoying Mark when I first like was getting ready to go to Virginia, being like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? But it's been nothing but supportive from Mark and Steven, and definitely Martin as well. Just incredible. But yeah, that's kind of like I sort of graduated, I guess, from that TEFL stage into the AFOL stage. So it wasn't really like a dark age period. More so it was a finally, let's make this a known thing to my page.
Some people don't have them. There are those out there. I know. I think Chris and Mark didn't have them either. So anyways, let's hop over. I think we have a temporary pause on Dark Aubrey. We can go to Light Aubrey or Georgia Aubrey. I prefer Georgia Aubrey. I think, are you kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, if my memory's not right, did you kind of get back into it from COVID because of the lockdown?
So I actually remember. Yeah, it wasn't because of COVID, but I am still like very new. It's only been about a year and 3 months since I got my first set. So my first set was Star Wars.
I have that set, and the teal astromech is awesome. They need to make more.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was my first set. I have some health issues, and I found out about them in November of 2021. And so
in the midst of COVID.
Feeling down. Yeah, so not COVID. It was after quarantine. And yeah, I was just, my mental health wasn't great. And my husband was like, knew that I needed something, and he knew that I really liked puzzles and I really liked Star Wars. So he was like, I just took a chance and got this set for you. If you don't like it, it's fine. We can take it back. And I built it, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done. And it was like, a spiral from there. So yeah, so mine, it was combo of like my husband by chance just bought me a set, but also it was like really helpful for my mental health. Yeah.
Have you ever met Evan in our lugs? Oh, spoiler alert. We got, Aubrey and Jillian are both in our Peach Lug. So have you ever met Evan Moon? You may have not gotten to meet him yet.
I mean, if he was at Atlanta Brick Con, I probably did, but honestly, I met so many
There's
people.
a lot of people. Yeah.
I recognize faces, so I'm having a hard time keeping up with all the names. I'm still learning.
Evan got back into it because he had I think a tumor, and unfortunately that he has to relearn all the fine motor skills over again, and he enjoys it. It's relaxing for him, but it's a way to have something to enjoy while kind of like relearning life again, and the mental aspect of it as well. So yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. We talk to him a lot, and he has an adorable I know I pet him all the time, and I always ask because he is a working support dog, but he's a cute dog. So, and he picks up Lego. He doesn't chew on it. He picks it up and he puts it back on the table for you. It's awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we wish our dog did that.
Yeah, so, I think Lego is great for mental health, and I know we talk about like the Lego community, but everyone that I've met that does Lego or is into Lego or anything like that, it's just been, everyone is so nice and encouraging, and it's just like a genuinely happy place to be. So it's like, yeah, building sets is like so fun, and I love, building mocks, but honestly, the relationships that I've made along the way and like the people I've met is like what keeps me here, like what keeps me doing Lego, because it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Martin introduced you to me, and we got you in our lug, and that's just like the power of the craziness of AFOL people, because we're weird and crazy, I guess. Yes. So, hey, I'm gonna pop over to Jean, because I actually don't know Jean's AFOL story. I know relatively new. I know she's a crazy Star Wars fan, a crazy Chopper fan, which I love Chopper. He's my favorite droid too. So how did you get into it?
It's like a very non-conventional Lego story. Like so many adults in the Lego community that I talk to and I'm really good friends with grew up with Lego, whereas I didn't. Like I grew up with mostly like hand-me-down toys and we couldn't afford Lego and things like that. And then after a while, it didn't interest me as something that I would want, right? But in adulthood, I would connect with other nerds, like for other stuff. Like I collect Funko Pops and I have been collecting Funko Pops since 2015. So I've met a lot of people on the online community from, these these bobbleheads, but they also bought Lego and built Lego. And I remember just thinking, I can't imagine ever wanting to build Lego. I was like, why would I want a blocky looking version of something when I have, like when I have a little R2D2 thing, I didn't understand it. And
thank you, producer Chris from the Green Room.
I didn't get it. I didn't. I was like, oh my God, you have to spend how much money on it and how much time to build it. I was like, no, I could never get into it. My husband a couple of times tried. He bought us advent calendars. I think it was 2021, Christmas 2021. And it was the most miserable thing ever. I was like, I hate this. We were also doing it right before bed when we realized, oh no, we haven't done our advent. So we're there. We didn't realize the instructions were on the flap. So we were just like trying to find the picture on the box and trying to imitate like what it was supposed to. I know. And he grew up with Lego. So it's like, really? You didn't know it was on the box? But anyway, the Star Wars helmets are what basically got me into building. And I waited
I have to stay away from them.
Huh?
I have to stay away from them because I'm worried I'm going to collect them. So I only have one. And I'm trying my hardest.
I was like, you know what? I'm only going to collect the helmets. I like the side, like I like when shelves look pretty and have mixed collectibles. Like I collect other things like lightsabers and prints and hot toys. So like I think the helmets are perfect size that they would look really cool. So May the 1st last year, I'm going to Target and I'm buying one thing. I'm buying this Darth Vader helmet. And that's the only time I've ever walked out of Target with the one thing I went in for. But it was, it was an $80 helmet.
Yeah.
And I sat there in front of the TV. I put Empire Strikes Back and I started separating out every piece. I was like, I know if I wait for my husband, he's just going to want to dump it. And I want to separate every single piece. This is how I want to build. And I didn't know at the time that this is called knolling. And I remember I had I'm an impatient person. I'm like, go, go, go. Like my brain goes at like 100 miles an hour. And so setting each of these pieces down, like by part and then by color and then building, like going instruction, it awakened something in me. Like when I finished my helmet, I was like, I get it. I get the Lego thing. And then it was dangerous. I think, I mean, as you can see, as you all have seen how I've grown into the hobby, like it's been incredible for me, as has been talked about, for my mental health, to slow me down and to be in the present. And I've started mock building, even though I was just like, I'm terrible at this, but there's just like such an encouraging community, and it's the people really make it that much better. But obviously Lego is also awesome. And I like doing stuff with my hands. I don't know. I'm just like sitting here with not a purpose, but I just have random pieces.
I keep staring over at my child because she keeps grabbing stuff and building something. So, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so that's my AFOL journey. Like, I've only been an adult fan of Lego.
How about we go to dark Aubrey? Although I'm gonna say Utah Aubrey because I just the light and dark thing's weird.
I know about this dark light thing.
I don't know your AFOL story either. I feel like a terrible friend.
That's okay. You can call me Utah Aubrey. I'm fine with that too. I'm also good with evil Aubrey. I don't remember, Jean, to answer your question, I don't remember who said light and I think it was Dana.
It was Dana.
Because like,
and
I was in like,
are you trying to call
it was
them,
at
like, evil?
Well, it was at Atlanta, and Aubrey's like all colorful, and I'm in my usual like all black. And he's like, oh, you're light Aubrey and you're dark Aubrey. And I was like, it's not wrong. So it's great. I actually, very similar to Jean, I didn't grow up playing with Lego. It wasn't something that was available to me. Like, I also had hand-me-down toys. So I didn't start getting into Lego until when I met my husband. So I met my husband when I was 18, and we were pretty poor. I mean, like, as most people are as you're first dating and like living together and stuff, but every once in a while we would buy like a Lego set. He did grow up with Lego, so we would buy a Lego set to build together as like date nights and stuff. I think Nicole is the one who said that she would do that with her husband. So and then as we became more financially stable, and we have 3 daughters, so they all love Lego, and they started getting Lego as gifts, and then people started getting us Lego as gifts. And I just am kind of new into the AFOL community because I have no idea how, but it had eluded me for so long because I love conventions. I've gone to many comic conventions. Like, we're getting ready for our tattoo convention, which it starts tomorrow. But I had no idea that we had a local convention. I didn't know anything about lugs. I didn't know anything about the online community. Like, it wasn't until the pandemic and Lego Masters that I was like, wait, my husband and I are not the only adult weirdos in our basement building Lego. There's others out there?
Did you all, and for everyone, did you get like the emails or the text messages from like the family members who know you're crazy AFOL person being like, oh my God, did you see this show? Are you going to watch it? It's called Lego Masters. Like,
We still get those of like, oh man, I was really expecting to see you on this time. And I'm like, well, are you going to watch my children?
Yeah.
We passed by tattoo conventions just like that. Yes, Chris. Fun fact, I don't know if we wanted to go there, but fun fact is a tattoo convention is actually the first place I ever displayed Lego, because my husband is a tattoo artist. And so we work tattoo conventions and we have a booth. So they're setting it up right now. And it starts tomorrow, and we're going to be displaying more Lego. But we had like set up, we built like a little minifig sized booth. This would have been the last one we did was 2020. But we had built like a minifig scale size of his booth, and like I was a mini doll, he was a minifig, he was tattooing a minifig, he had like custom drawn on some tattoos and stuff. It was really fun. And then I made like little micro planes and trains and stuff to give out to like the kids that are walking around with their parents, and it's really fun. But yeah, I'm like, well, technically I had displayed Lego at a convention before I started going to conventions, because but yeah, it was a lot of fun and people loved it, so we're gonna do it again. Procrastinating is my number one skill, just so everybody knows that. My project that I'm displaying this time is right in front of me, and I am finishing it, and it has to be done by tomorrow. So
I like procrastinating, and I think many of my mocks get finished probably about hours before I have to pack them up. So it's a skill.
Yeah, well, sometimes like at Lego at Brick Slopes this year or last August.
I remember I saw the pictures, right?
I finished it there.
Yeah.
I just had to do like the plant work and stuff that's on the bottom, and it really would have like taken maybe 15 minutes, but like Martin and Steven and a couple of other people just came over, and I had like a bin of Lego, and we all just started building together. So it was really fun. So it really like took like 4 hours.
I also do most of my best work in a panic-induced state. So
yeah, it's the pressure. I thrive under it. It's great.
So here's a kind of a question for y'all, and I guess I think I'm the oldest person here, and that's okay. I am an old gray brick.
Are you?
I don't know.
No way. We don't have to talk age.
Yeah, we don't have to talk age, but I'm not sure that you are.
Are we too old to be here?
Okay. Well,
am I too old to be here?
Young engineers in my office make fun of me and make me feel like a Luddite because I am not savvy, social media, TikToks, and all that. Like when I first got into mocking, like 2018, it's like it's all about the Flickr baby. And like I feel like Flickr is where like the old school AFOLs live, but like getting an Instagram account and like looking at stuff Instagram, it just feels like a completely different world. And I just wanted to kind of like throw it out there that I noticed. I feel like it's a little bit more open of a world. It's a little bit more inviting of a world for AFOLs in general, no matter what kind of AFOL you are. I know a lot of you are big, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Twitch, just kind of getting your feelings like, because again, back in the day, and I've always heard back in the day, my lug actually was a train lug, and trains are great, but like, I don't know necessarily if it's still like the biggest thing that people think about with Lego. They don't think about trains. Well, so anyways, just throw it out there. Like, do you think I think social media really kind of with the pandemic kind of accelerated like these, just it feels like a whole bunch, especially of female AFOLs like coming out of the woodwork?
Oh yeah, definitely. Before I get in that, I want to say hi to all of our friends in the chat right now. I'm watching.
I know, I'm terrible. Chris is the producer, so
hi to everybody. But yeah, I do feel like social media, it's been a great way to connect with AFOLs in general, but definitely honing in on that sort of like the female lady or the lady Lego community is definitely a big highlight. And through things, I know through TikTok is where I found like the first like group of like other like groups of ladies who love Lego. And then that moved over into Instagram where I found like these amazing pages. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's so many of us. And because it is like the kind of area where you're like, okay, you're a woman in this whole big, amazing community. There are people who are like, so wait, you're into Lego and you're a woman? I know it's awful to say, but it still happens. But being able to see these other women who are mock building, who are collecting sets, who are making it a prominent statement to make their shelves amazing and full of Lego, it's a really encouraging sight. I know, especially for me, because like when I was younger and doing it, it was kind of like, should I keep quiet about this? Should I keep this sort of as my little secret side hobby? But over the years, it's just really helped encourage me just to be this like proud about it, to be excited about it, to be inviting about it. And I just want to say each one of you guys have definitely helped with that. So love our little Lego lady community we got going on, supporting each other.
I think the other really cool thing about the internet, and I don't know if I'm alone in this feeling, but I mean, I'm going to assume that most of us remember when the internet was invented. And it was one of those places where I felt like I'm an introvert. So I felt like it was a place that I could truly be myself and feel comfortable enough to share the actual me and what I like to do, because I always felt that surrounded by my peers here in Massachusetts or, wherever I lived in LA for a little bit. I always felt like, ooh, I don't know if I should really share that. I don't really have, I have friends, but we don't have completely the same interests. And I felt like the internet was a really good place, and Instagram primarily was a really great place for me to really dive deeper into what I actually enjoy in life, which would have been Lego or travel or whatever it was. And I don't know if that contributes to why there have been so many new people coming out now with their nerd side and their geek side. I don't know if it's that comfort that they find on the internet that really makes it a destination rather than just I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree. Yeah, I completely understand with you. And this was several years ago. It was probably 5 years ago, and I was with a guy who's probably about 10 years older than me, and he's a sales account manager, and we're with a large Fortune 500 company at lunch, and we had a merchandise vice president who was probably maybe about 5 years older than me, and somehow the topic got on Lego, and none of my company's older folks could connect with this guy. And I'm like, you want to see a picture of a UCS Millennium Falcon? He's like, you built it? And I'm like, that's my kitchen countertop, and it's taken up the whole width. And I feel like even, I know millennials and Z and all that, I feel like the shift had probably started, and now it's just like those things are relatable, especially like Star Wars and Lego and stuff, but still like there's that hesitation, like, are they going to think I'm weird or really weird?
Oh, they'll absolutely think you're weird. I mean, my friend, I mean, I think it's out in the open now who I am. So, I mean, every family get together, it's like, oh, so Lego thing, huh? I'm like, yeah.
How's it going?
But the thing is and I hate using the word like community because I sometimes feel like it's cliche and it feels kind of cultish, but the Lego lovers online, as I'll just refer to it, it was a place where I finally felt like it's okay. Like it's okay that I like something this much. Like, it's good. I'm not that weird, weirdo in high school anymore. Like I'm me, and there are other people like me, and it's okay to be out here with it.
I did not have any other Star Wars friends for my entire life until I joined a blog. Like my own husband doesn't like Star Wars, and he's a huge nerd, but I couldn't find other Star Wars people until I joined a blog. It's just crazy. So
that's funny.
No, I feel like I go on Flickr, and not to like, how do I say, bash Flickr, but like I thought mini dolls, here's a topic. I thought mini dolls were like universally hated. And then you go on like social media and you go on YouTube, and there are people out there. Do you guys know LEV Toys?
Yes. Oh my gosh. She is amazing.
She's awesome. And she has more subscribers than most other Lego YouTubers out there. And it's just like,
she's like over 1 million subscribers.
Yes. And there are ladies out there letting their kind of Lego freak flag fly, I guess.
I would dare say that it's still pretty common for mini dolls to be hated. And I am a voice for friends and elves and mini dolls in general. And I will die on this hill. I will scream it from the rooftops that mini dolls are amazing.
I never knew what that Friends was like its whole different theme until talking to you, Aubrey. And I love Friends and I love mini dolls.
Yeah, it's so good.
In my collection.
Yeah,
I am trolling. I'm trolling Bricking Up Brad to do a series on Friends lore and Elves lore. Anytime he does post about lore, I'm like, what? When are you doing?
I bet he would like Elves lore, because Elves lore is really fun and it's actually really similar. So, fun fact: Wes, who just designed Rivendell, got hired to do elves because of a painting that he had done of Rivendell, and the elves live in Elvendale, and a lot of the stories follow very closely to Lord of the Rings, and they're also, there's really cool callbacks to Stranger Things, and Elves is just fun. So it sucks to get people hyped about it now because Elves has been retired for a really long time, but Elves was fantasy and castle, and it was nature, and is everything,
dragons,
dragons, everything that is amazing.
You definitely made me want to look up can I get an elf set, and I'm like,
oh my gosh, I have one sitting over here.
Yeah, so I actually think that Brad would have a lot of fun doing Elves lore. Friends lore is definitely it's kids in high school, and then the girls have now gone off to school or college, and now they're grown up, and now this new generation is coming in, and it's really fun, but it's not as I wouldn't say it's not as intriguing fun, as Elves,
the fantasy
especially
world.
for Brad, or someone who's really into castle and fantasy and stuff like that. But Friends is awesome. It's very inclusive. It's very fun. The sets are very awesome. Like they're
The colors.
really colorful, and they have so many fun play functions. And I mean, I am just a huge fan of all this like themes that are getting girls into Lego. So I mean, not only do I like this panel, and the females in the community are the big reason that like I wanted to be in the community. You know, like it was great building with my husband and my kids, but like finding amazing females like you guys is like one of the best things that has ever happened in my life. And like figuring out that Lego has put so much effort into trying to bringing girls into the hobby and play, and bringing very specific themes to try and break that stigma and get them into it. And, you know, they failed in certain ways, and other ways it was really great. But, you know, I'm a huge champion for like all the themes that Lego has done to try and get more girls building and being creative. So, you know, that's a big reason why I'm like, elves, friends, Belleville. We're gonna do it all.
I had a Clickets box here, but I think
Clickets. Oh man, Clickets was so fun.
Well, what's funny is that Tips and Bricks did that whole thing about like, you know, because it's, you know, it was International Women's Day. Like they did a thing about like, you know, female orientated or girl orientated Lego themes, and they left out Clickets and Dots. And I'm like, and then they're like, well, it was crafty. And I'm like, technically Lego is crafty.
Yeah.
You could build like vases or anything out of Lego. So yeah, what happened to you? Well, we're having a little estrogen party tonight. That's what happened. So
what happened to the old dudes?
So here's another question to kind of throw out there. I know quite a few of you, if not all of you, are into starting or dipping your toes in or have mock built. Like, what are your experiences on that? Because I think like what Jillian was saying earlier, I think the first time I displayed a mock, I probably felt like I was going to vomit and everyone would hate it. And it feels like almost a different level of putting yourself out there. Kind of like, what are your feelings? Are you planning to do it? You know, what have your experiences been so far? Just take it away. I'm gonna pick on Aubrey, since she just won. What was it? Best.
No, I was like, please talk. Tell us the story.
Yeah.
Tell us the story.
I mean, that for those of you that don't know, I know all of you guys here know, but I did a big small layout coral reef.
Where's producer Chris?
In there.
Small layout.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did a 3 base plate coral reef, and I added some motors and movement in there. And it was my 3rd mock. So I did my very first mock was Friendship Timber. So I don't think which other Aubrey does run. And I honestly don't think I would have started mocking if it had not been for that. Because it just never, I was like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And I saw so many other people doing it, and I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, I started with that and did a jack-o'-lantern, and then did the reef. And I was nervous because this past convention was my first one even attending. So I had a lot of nerves of just like meeting people, talking to people, opinions on what my build would look like.
What is happening?
Are you laughing at my creepy husband?
Classic. Classic.
He came down.
I just see how he's like behind the post.
You're just standing there like.
He's laughing about how creepy he is.
He's
come down to collect my child. Natalie,
At least he was dressed. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's in his
That's
typical nerd outfit of a frumpy polo shirt. That's his regalia. Yes, the collar has to be really frumpy.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Nat,
I love
Natalie, I love you. Good night. Go to bed. You promised me.
Good night, Natalie.
Good night, Natalie.
Bye.
Hello, Brian.
Sweet dreams.
So I know a lot of you have made Friendshiptober. Did that help?
September.
Like, here's the thing, like, I felt, I don't want to say ashamed. Yeah, he was dressed. He was dressed. That is a plus. Again, with the Friends mini dolls. Okay, so LEV and Clear Motion totally got me onto customizing, and it's like, oh man, this is, I don't want to say it's easy, and it doesn't always look great, but you know, from 5 feet away, you can kind of make anybody you want in a mini doll with a little acrylic paint. It's fun.
Yeah.
There's her
There's things build.
Do you think
I
that
love
Friendshiptober kind of has, like, how do I say, help legitimize aka both mini dolls and like trying to get folks that may have not felt included in mock building, like getting to be mock building? 'Cause I feel like it did.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, so Martin Harris and I, Bricksnaps, started Friendshiptober. So if you don't know what it is, it's kind of just a play off of Shiptember, where Shiptember, you're supposed to build a spaceship that's 100 studs long, and it's supposed to take you the whole month of September. Well, you're supposed to do it within the month of September, no longer, but it can be shorter. And we wanted to do something that was more accessible. So the rules are, it has to be mini dolls if characters are involved, and then, you know, we want to see like colors. And friends, like fitting within the Friends theme, like Friendsify something. And so it's, you create a ship, and instead of it having to be a spaceship, it can be a spaceship, a pirate ship, like an airship, anything like that. And I mean, that was the purpose of it, is we wanted people to not only enjoy this amazing theme. So like for AFOLs that might not be into Friends, you know, like build a pirate ship, build a spaceship in Friends. And a lot of people have done stuff like that, and like have never built with Friends or mini dolls or colors like that before. But also we really wanted to like give something that didn't seem so massive and outrageous to be able to like build your first mock, right? Because we go to conventions or you see posts online and all these builds are huge and they seem like so massive and impressive, and that feels really unattainable when you're first trying to start. I'm sorry, I see that like I'm super clear on my screen, but I can see like coming through YouTube that I'm very choppy, so I'm sorry if it's coming through that way. I don't know what's going on. I tried to fix my internet, but yeah, I mean, that was a big reason on why we started Friendshiptober in the first place. So I hope that that's how people are feeling.
I mean, I definitely think it. I'm not just saying this because you're here. I would not have built the reef if I had not done Friendshiptober first. Like, I would not have. That would not have happened without Friendshiptober.
You're gonna make me cry.
I knew it. They were going to be first tonight.
The gateway drug, the mocking.
Yeah,
yeah, that was my first mock, and I mean, I partially did it because, like I said, Aubrey like loves Friends, and Martin had shared with me pictures of his daughter and him, like I guess when she was like a lot younger. She's 13, and like I guess when she was like 6, 7, he loves Star Wars, so like they had built their own little Star Wars ships that were Friends colored. So there's like an AT-AT that's pink. It's like, that's adorable.
They're super cute.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, if all I need to do is recolor something, I was like, I can play around with that. And it ended up being a lot more complicated than it. Like from my little, this is my first mock, but I stole like this little mechanism.
It's so cute.
Thank you. I stole this mechanism from like the N1 Starfighter, where it's the Mandalorian and Grogu. But like I had to, changing this area to fit a mini doll instead of a minifigure was the most complicated thing I'd ever done. I was like, why isn't this easier? And then obviously it's modeled after a Jedi starship, but I needed this to have a trunk in the front because it's supposed to carry snacks. And that was a part of my story. But like, I was like, it was not as easy as just recoloring, you know, a Jedi starfighter. So it opened up my world of like messing around with pieces and playing around with techniques and playing around with color. Cause you know, before that I had limited myself to like, I'm only going to be into Lego Star Wars. And that's kind of just more a way of my financially restricting myself, but also, but then I was like, F it. I'm going all in. I'm going to buy whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had this mentality with whatever I collect that just when I bring new things in, old things that no longer serve me are going to move out. And so that's just what I've been doing. And
I will be the first to say I suck at ships. I don't know how.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Wait, come again. I think there was
what you brought.
Ships. I suck at spaceships. I don't think I've.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pirate ship. I think
thought.
you can do. A spaceship, not happening. But yeah, I loved it. Like I'm like, yeah, I felt like, I built that the ship I built was a COVID build because my daughter was depressed and she's like, let's build a pirate ship. But I'm like, other than like Martin and a few other folks, and there's, by the way, if you do want to go on Flickr, which I know is an ancient form of internet, there is somebody, I think his name is Tyler Sky, and he was like the first, I think it's a he might be a she, was the first person that started like what he called Friendly Wars, which was the Star Wars Lego Friends crossover, and she built some really crazy stuff, and that's what really inspired me a lot too. But I don't think they've built anything in a while. They built this huge like UCS Friends B-wing that was just phenomenal. So,
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Flickr is awesome because you can get like really high quality photos, and I think that's why the Lego community kind of originated over there as far as like sharing photos, because you could be on like Lugnet and stuff like that, but Flickr was just a great place. Yeah, Flickr was a great place that you could share like high definition photos before. And it's one of those things that it's like I would look at Lego builds on Flickr before. I'm like, I don't know how I didn't find the AFOL community before I did, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad we're here.
So here's a question: what AFOL communities are you kind of involved in? I know we have Jillian and I'm gonna say Georgia, Aubrey. They're in my lug. I know, Aubrey, you're involved in your lug locally. What about Nicole? I know you're on a couple of Brickheads, and obviously, Jean, you have a huge following for Star Wars. But are you guys like involved in local lugs or any local? I mean, there's so many freaking crazy. There's like the Castle folks, and there's obviously the space folks. I end up joining a group that's building a cyberpunk city, and I'm the only girl, but it's okay. I love cyberpunk.
No.
So we're doing it. And they've been really great and really cool, and everyone loves the stuff I built. Trying to bring the Friends color. It's cyberpunk. There's gonna be color. We're gonna break out some aquas and stuff. So
I love cyberpunk.
I've been wanting to join our club.
You're gonna be there. His name is Stefan. I can never remember his last name. But him and a few of the older kind of like old school mockers got together, and they're gonna build like what he did and make it like 4 times bigger. It's just gonna be mind blowing. It's gonna be awesome.
Wow.
Crazy.
But like, have you like, what kind of like groups are out there that you've joined or have experience with? Like, are there like just what are your experiences with lugs or what have you?
I've really only talked to like the Instagram people. So like I said, I built my first set May the 1st last year. And by June 15th or whatever, I was at Chicago Brick World. I just followed
That was our first convention, Brick World Chicago.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
I had just like I had already been following some Lego accounts because of Thomas and Martin, who were kind of like, and Luke, but Luke's a lot less, more, I should say, like in the beginning he wasn't as much into Instagram, and then he started being into Lego Instagram, LJM builds. Yeah. But so like them three, but through them three, I met so many like Nicole, Aubrey, Jillian, and I was like, all these people are going to be at Chicago Brick World. I was like, I want to go to Brick World. Like this seems to, and by then I already knew Emma Soros, who's like local to me. And she had also started integrating me into the world a little bit. Like, oh my God, let's go to Lego store. I had never been to our Lego store because I was always intimidated to go in. I literally would walk by it all the time at the mall and just see like either really long lines or just see like too many dudes in there. And I just never went in. So when I told her that, she's like, let's go on this day to the Lego store. I'm taking you. So, that was lovely. Yeah, and she's been super lovely, and yeah, so it's just
I've
been
never met, and I'm looking forward to meeting her because I've never met her, but like a lady who's out there professing her love to 1 million people on YouTube about Star Wars that takes a lot. So
Yeah.
She's a wonderful human. I mean, I think she is making Lego feel very accessible to a lot of people because her channel started out, she was really just building sets, and she's like building a whole city and a mock and stuff now, and it's like this huge, massive thing. But and I mean, now she has like 300,000 subscribers, and it's like crazy, and it's taken off because. Well, she's just
shorts or something.
I cannot say enough good things about Emily because I adore her so much. But like, really, when she started out, like, it was very humble beginnings, right? Like, and she was just like anybody could do what she did as far as getting into Lego. I mean, she's insanely smart, and there's a reason that her channel has grown, and that like making this her job and things like that. So, but as far as like doing what she did with Lego and coming into the community, I think she is a huge proponent for people feeling like the community is accessible, especially the online community. But, and for a woman to be doing that is amazing. And yeah, I mean, I could gush about Emily for ever and ever, but I adore her.
And especially since something like Lego is such like, sometimes I felt when I first started, because before I found all the women in there, and I'm not saying like just because of gender, like we're going to be best friends, but you know what I mean? Like just there's comfort in knowing that there are other women doing Lego. But I always felt like sometimes with like some of the old school Lego people, you feel kind of shut out a little bit, where it's like you don't feel worthy enough to be sharing your love because you are just new into it, or you don't know as much. Yes, tons of gatekeeping. And I remember Emily was one of the first people that like I connected with. I mean, maybe not like as deeply, but she really made it feel like a very safe place for people. And I can't stress it enough, like to have women like us and her doing stuff like that is so refreshing and so good, because it can be very intimidating coming into a new space. It's scary. And you need those people that just don't care about what other people are going to say and are just going to pave the way for like our daughters. Like I always think about like, we have daughters, and I sometimes wonder, like, existentially, was I given a daughter to show her to have a voice in a place where I didn't necessarily feel like I had a voice sometimes. And
Absolutely.
so it's like, it's people like her, it's people like you guys that really make a difference in the space. And I'm glad, I'm really glad we're all here together to talk about this. I think
that's really awesome. And that went really deep, and thank you for bringing that up, because it's just, I fight it a lot in my office. I have the was it called imposter syndrome? And I'm an engineer by training, and I always question myself, and I always question myself, like, is this the world I'm going to bring my daughter into?
Yeah. I mean, I can get like super, super emotional about it for sure. But I mean, I could talk for hours about like what this Lego community has done for me. And like I said, I have 3 daughters, and they all love Lego, and seeing all of them, and I don't put them online as much anymore, but they go to conventions and people love them, and talking about like how great their builds are. And I don't know, it's so awesome to see so many people expressing their creativity and, breaking the gender norms, which I think is a huge thing that needs to be happening. And I really can't say how much like I appreciate it, and how personal it is in not only my own world for myself, but also for, the humans that I'm raising.
I mean, like, coming from a standpoint of like, as someone who works at a store that sells Lego, Atlanta Brick Co., it's it's sort of like a two coin sort of thing, because we will have people come in, sadly, sometimes, and they're these guys who I'm like, hi, can I help you get anything? And they're like, what do you know about this?
I know more than you.
Yeah, it literally is that situation where like they're like, I've had numerous people ask me, so do you just like work here because you needed a job, or do you work here because your boyfriend works here, or do you work here because
oh man,
oh my god, in the store? And I'm like,
did your husband build this block?
Did your husband build this block? So it's really interesting to see that, because it's like, no, I actually am a part of this community. And it's just at that moment where I'm kind of biting my tongue, because I'm also in a professional environment. Yes.
I would be in so much trouble if I were born.
No, like I bite my tongue a lot in that situation. And it's also because I want to hold it. I don't want to be like this angry female AFOL or this Karen AFOL who's like just completely like gonna take that and use it as an excuse to get mad at somebody. But it's also the bright side to working at a company like that is we do have like, what I see a lot is like little boys who come in with their mom and they have a little sister with them. And I remember one time I walked up to the little girl and I was like, hi, is there anything I can help you with? And she's like, girls can build Lego. And that moment, like there were so many emotions that went on in my head. So
yeah.
like the fact that maybe she had been to this point thinking that she couldn't, I was like, of course you can. You can like honestly do anything you put your mind to, and especially build Lego. It doesn't matter. Like you can build no matter what. So being able to be a woman working at that company, I just love whenever I see girls come in and then they sort of see me. It's funny because you see it sometimes where they look and they're like, we'll have our group of guys behind the counter and then we'll see the occasional woman and they're like, wait, that could be me. And I'm like, yes, it could be. Of course it could be.
I loved going in Atlanta. I loved going over to Rebel Lug and seeing like you and Holly over there. Like I loved that. There was one other girl and I didn't meet her, but I loved that. And going off what you said, where people are like, oh, what do you know? Mm-hmm. One thing that has really helped me a lot just in learning, because I always want to learn new things. I remember because my friends know that I like Lego, so they'll send me articles and whatever all the time. And I had seen a lot of the things that they were sending me and I'd say, oh yeah, I saw that, or yeah, I know that. And now instead of saying that, I do something where I just say, that's really cool. What else do you know about it? Because I think if you open up that conversation, even if you saw the post, even if you saw the picture,
it's cool that they sent it to you.
Right. Ask like the fact that you thought about me. Yeah. And I want to know, like, what's your take on it? What do you think? Because I hate that mentality of like, oh, well, I know more than you. And therefore, you know, let's just shut it down now. Like, you know, let's keep it going. I want to know more. So it's sad, unfortunately, that's the reality of the situation of you working in Atlanta Brico, like it's sad. I see it at Boston Brick too. I see the exact same thing. And it's like, I'll be browsing and, you know, some guy will come up to me and be like, so who are you buying for? And not a worker, like just a shopper. I'm like, yeah, I'm buying for myself. Oh, well, did you see the Friends sets over there? I'm like, no.
You're like, thank you, but I will also be looking at the Star Wars sets.
I know. Like, Rivendell today.
I'm like, I'm looking at the Bionicle. Can you leave me alone for a minute? I'm trying to figure this out. So
it's Bionicle. I don't know
the story, but I'm well. You were talking about what community, like lugs and all this. I think the closest one that seems accepting of a newbie would be Rhode Island to me, and that's kind of a far drive. I think Boston has one that's really old school, so I just don't bother because I get like nervous. But I do Discord. Like I'll join different Discord channels, and I love it because it's a great place to just hang out. If I want to come in, I come in. If I want to sit this one out, I sit this one out. But Discord's been really, really helpful in conversations. And so I joined a Bionicle Discord to learn about all the lore and
I need to join. Yeah,
it goes deep, man. It goes deep.
It does go deep.
So I joined our text slug Discord because they were like, oh yeah, that's where you can find out all the info. But I was like, I don't feel like it's very welcoming. And like, that's also, I haven't been to meetings. Like the meetings are on Sundays in the middle of the day and it's beautiful outside. And it's not a convenient place. My friend Michaela, which I think a lot of y'all know her, It's Not Okay on Instagram, like love her, but she didn't get the best talking up. She was like, yeah, the average age of the people in the lug is like 53-year-old men. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, are they gonna like me? So I don't know. But the last time I was at the Lego store, I saw Will Heron, who runs the tech slug with the Houston people. And Will is great, but he's like, haven't seen you at a lug meeting. And I'm like, you should have it on not a Sunday.
Yeah, like I want to feel welcome there. I will say, I saw Chris asking like how dudes can be better. I think the hard thing, I am very willing to like go into a lot of situations and shake things up. So when I joined my lug, I was definitely more like, who are the women here? You know, like let's bring in friends. You know, like my lug is great, but it was very like they still do a lot of train shows and it's awesome. But it's like it's growing a lot now. So I think the hard thing is like being the person to incite the change is a lot of pressure. It like, you know, so
and you're sometimes the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, you can be the bad guy. It's a lot of pressure to like try and bring change into it. So I would say that if you are curious on like how you can do better, because you know, Chris just asked, is like walk into a room and be like, are there women here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like are there people of color here? Or is this a situation that we're gatekeeping or has been gatekept because of whatever reason? You know, like is it a place that women would want to be? You know, so it's like those are questions that you can ask yourself, because you know there's so much value in having different perspectives, and I can't tell you how much I've learned from so I would say that the only community that I'm not really involved in is TikTok, and that's just because I'm an old grandma. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, I've been in the Twitch community and YouTube, and you know, I'm involved in my lug and I go to conventions, and so I learn a lot from a lot of different people in the community from all ages and genders and, you know, ethnicities and stuff like that. And I think that it's important to ask yourself when you're in those rooms or at those places, like, is this just a bunch of old dudes?
And like, to your point, Aubrey, I don't think that our audience right now, like the people we're talking to, I see Flat, Chris, Adam, Cody.
Yeah, like we've been very welcomed, right? Like
there
obviously.
Are advocates. Like we already know there are advocates. So most of the time, like it's really not the people who already acknowledge us. It's the people who say, you know, she can't join the Lego community because she collects Funko Pops.
Yeah, it's the internet.
Or she just builds sets.
Not even or she just builds, and that's okay. Circling back to when Nicole was talking about Emily. Yeah, she started off very humble beginnings in sets. And if you look at the comments in a lot of her videos,
nasty.
She's only building sets. Ooh, it's because they're free. You know, like a lot of that. And then
Brixie builds mostly sets, and people kind of consider him like the end-all be-all of YouTuber city builders. But he does build box, but
she did a simple reel where she was like grabbing all the plastic bags after building a set. Just a relatable like meme, like the crunching sound you hear. And like half the comments were like, oh, but you only build sets. It's like, really? You can't laugh at something on the internet? Like, you have to be like, she only builds sets.
She only builds sets. And, you know, a conversation that I've had a lot, too, and this is semi-related. So I love Josh and John Beyond the Brick. They're amazing. They're wonderful, great kids, but they're very welcomed at communities. And they're Lego influencers. They don't really build they build, but, like, they don't bring mocks, you know, and they're very welcomed at communities or in conventions, as they should be. But then a lot of conventions are like, we don't want this influencer, we don't want this influencer, we don't want to work with you. And, you know, a lot of conventions are changing that. Like, I know our personal convention, we're working really hard to do that, to be a big change in that. So it's just things like that, you know, like women influencers, people who build sets, people who are just getting into mocking. You know, there's so many ways that we can be welcoming, because you never know what a community could mean to someone. You never know what someone's potential could be in building a mock from just building sets, you know, like there's so much growth that can happen there. So, you know, don't turn your nose up to people who just want to be in the community and be a part of something that's amazing.
I can't tell you how many male builders or male Lego creators like don't even like are never going to welcome me into the community, are never going to, or you know,
I call them the if you know you know crowd. And like if guys are like, if you know you know, I'm like, what are we knowing? Like, I want to know what we're knowing. What are we knowing?
I mean, I do want to say this, like there are the people that are like that, but there are so many people that are like we've been saying, people who are the guys who are welcoming. A prime example for me was, and this is a story that's kind of like, in my opinion, it was one of the moments of my AFOL life that like wanted to make me continue being in the community, because I almost completely left after in the middle of Brick Fair, Virginia. I almost completely decided to stop being an AFOL. Some things have been said to me at conventions that were not the brightest. They were not the nicest. And I just remember I was like, if this is how everyone's going to be, then I'm not going to do this, sadly. But I ran into this wonderful guy named Nathaniel, and he was like, him and a bunch of other guys, they run this group called the Salty Bros. And I just remember talking to them and them being the most like supportive, kind, and genuine people. And originally they were like a building group of all guys. And I think, Meredith, you also mentioned you just joined a group where you are the only girl. For them the next morning to me being like, hey, do you want to join the Salty Bros? And I'm like, what? And they were like, do you want to join? Like, we see you build, we see you like are passionate about this. We'd love to have you. And for me, that was the moment that was kind of like the ray of sunshine, being like, don't give up on this. Do not give up on this, because you will meet amazing people like them. And ever since I've joined, they've been so supportive. They've been so outstanding. They were like, any doubts that sometimes I'll have, they will like brush that away in like the fastest way possible, being like, no, you're just going through a little funk right now. Let's look at this. Let's see how this can be built. Let's see if we can like sort of help you. Like, and like they won't do it for me, but they'll like give suggestions, and they'll be a great inspiration. So definitely, I feel like if a girl out there right now is like nervous about, do I join a lug? Do I not join a lug? Don't be afraid to try. And there is a lug out there that you are going to find a home in. You are going to find a community, and you will find. I was going to mention
there are online lugs. So like I think it's like a Vinola. I can never say it. Like Eurobricks has a lug. I mean, there's online lugs. I just happened, and I think Jillian and Georgia Aubrey, I'm gonna maybe speak for us, but I feel like I was spoiled with Peach Lug because I show up and everyone's super welcoming. I mean, even if you're gonna be like, I only like trains, they'd be like, cool, what kind of trains do you like? You know, it's they're about the brick, they're about the level Lego. I remember, I mean, just to even say I had my own personal biases. Like I was like, I'm never gonna paint Lego, I'm never gonna cut Lego. People that do that are terrible human beings who shouldn't be, you know, touching the brick. And you know, I'm watching a few LEV videos and I'm like, damn, those minifigs look good. I'm gonna paint so many dolls.
She's just so
I just like, you know, however you enjoy it, you know. But you know, I would say too,
if you have a down moment, if you have a down moment too, just you have to push through it. You have to, because if you quit, you're gonna miss out, you know.
Yeah. And for me, it was that moment of just being able to sort of see that little like the ray of sunshine that came from like the Salty Bros, and that came from let's give this another shot. Is I want to be able to also just have more like women be excited about joining lug, excited about joining groups. I know somebody in the chat, they asked what is a lug, and don't feel embarrassed to ask that question. Ask the questions. I feel like people, if like you don't know what it is, it's just kind of like school. You got to ask the questions or you're not going to know. But
we have to create the space for people
to do that sometime.
Yeah, we have to create the space for people to feel comfortable asking those questions, like what you just said, right? And
Mhm.
I mean, to be fair, I do want to say that I don't think that most people have malicious intent when like it's just like how the community has been and like how things are or have been. So that's why I was saying that I think it's just like it's a good idea to just, you know, check yourself every once in a while and like see who's in the room, because it's just, I think it's just something that we don't think about a lot of the time.
Yeah. And it's
Definitely.
like, and in terms of like the friendship part too, like, and you know, we're obviously a all woman panel, so I'll play the woman card here, but the women of Lego have like kept me here in times where it was bad. I mean, Jean, you know situations that went on, and really it was like people like Jean, the Aubreys, and like Emma Soros, like who were like, listen, like that's awful, but like let's push past, like let's move along, and there is something for you. It's just not this, right? And that's, I think, the benefit of the girls ganging together in a positive way, because it can feel, especially on the internet, extremely isolating.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really until Atlanta where I met everyone. Like, I'm seeing Adam in the chat and Cody and like these guys that really, I was like, okay, like these are my people. So it doesn't matter what was over there. Like, these are my people, and I do not need to worry about the other crap that was going on. So it's important. I'm a stickler. Like, if you're having a tough time, like reach out to somebody in chat, reach out to like, you know, one of us or whatever, and chat about it, and pull and push through, because there is something for you here. It may not be whatever that is, but there is something for you. There's something for everybody in here. And whether it's mock building sets, doing news, TikTok, Flickr, whatever, like there's something for you here. You just have to find it.
We forgot to talk about Groovy Granny, and I have to say that's why my lug is awesome. Francine
Granny
is my lug grandma. Like, anytime,
right here.
And it's anyone in my lug sees Francine coming, it's always, Francine, let's help you. Francine, let's get you in. I mean, she is just the sweetest. She was sorting some bulk for a guy who was running a bulk sorting company through my husband, and we weren't gonna do it anymore, and she was flipping out. And it's like, Francine, we got you. I mean, she is doing it at an older age. I don't know how old she is, but she is doing it.
She's a legend.
Yeah, she
doesn't care. She doesn't give a crap. She doesn't give a crap.
She doesn't.
She's here. She's building mocks. She's putting them in the city. And Francine is like, I call her my Lego grandma.
Yeah. Groovy
Granny. That hat was awesome.
That hat was 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Just to let all the viewers at home know, Francine is one of our older members of Peach Slug, who has to be the sweetest lady, one of the sweetest ladies I met, and she had this cool hat named Groovy Granny on, and it was phenomenal. So
she is fine wine. She's aged to perfection.
She is, and it's. I just love seeing not only someone who's at an advanced age, but someone who is a woman, just out there at our lug meetings, building, going there, and not giving a crap, as I said. So it's great.
Yeah.
She's my inspiration too. So, any last thoughts before we wrap up? Because I know Chris usually goes to about an hour, and we've had such awesome conversations that we've gone over, but maybe throw it out there for like kind of like last thoughts.
Advanced age.
I'm trying to be nice. Okay. Anytime I say old or elderly, I get told I'm ageist and I'm going to be an old lady soon, and I'm sorry. So I'm trying to think of the best way to say.
I feel like
what did BFAB say the other day? Vintage. He called it vintage.
Yes. Except if you were me and you were expired.
Oh, that's right.
I was expired, but it's okay.
It's okay.
I keep saying I have senior moments, so that's my excuse.
No, that's mom brain. That's
mom brain. Yes,
mom brain.
That's mom brain. It's real. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like advanced, maybe like wise.
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 Finally aged.
All age like fine.
Curdled. It's like milk. Oh no.
Oh, that's bad.
Okay.
Oh,
all right,
guys, this was so nice.
It was so much fun. I really appreciate it because I am probably the most doobie looking host on Chris's show / any YouTube show. So thank you so much for joining us.
Meredith, we do have a question in chat.
What was the question?
Is it motos? Because the answer is yes. Bring it.
Yes. Yes.
There I have too many buttons to press.
You're good. We are doing.
Yes, that's an awesome
there is a table for Friendship Timber builds at Chicago. So let me know if you're bringing one. It's a full table right now, and I can expand it if we need to. So if you have built a friendship or want to bring one to Chicago, just reach out to me on Instagram. And then we will be running Friendship Timber again in September. So
awesome. Yeah. The flying narwhal will be there, and the ship I can't talk about, contractually not obligated to talk about, will also be there.
Perfect. I love both of them.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. I appreciate everyone's awesome input. What does Chris say? Definitely be nice to everyone. Be nice to your neighbors. Be nice to your strangers in your life, and go build something awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, the hands.
Hands.